Hello everyone, I'm Jim Edwards.
And I'm Becky Blanton.
And we welcome you to this week's Stop on the Road. We're in Blountville, Tennessee, and we are at the Department of Archives and Tourism in Sullivan County, Tennessee, and we're going to be talking to Miss Sheila Steele Hunt, the director, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
Now, I know I sort of messed up the beginning at the title, but it was that close to what it is?
Fairly close. Sullivan
Okay.
County Department of Archives and Tourism.
All right.
It's a big mouthful.
That is, too. And I have a short memory, so. But thank you for joining us. And
Thank you.
been wanting to come down for quite a while and talk about what you have here. And so tell us what you have here.
Actually, we're a mixed bag. We have a whole lot of things for a whole lot of people. We have tourism, of course, which engulfs a lot of things for Sullivan County. The Sullivan County Department of Archives and Tourism is all about tourism and preservation, preserving, our archival, our county governmental records, and that's what we're all about.
Okay. Now, is this the events that go on here, or as far as that goes, the department itself or the activities open to the general public for
They are.
for any kind of tours?
Absolutely. Open to the general public. We have a lot of the buildings in downtown Blountville that are open to the general public by appointment, of course, so that we can have enough people there to staff the buildings. But we have all kinds of things for all kinds of people.
Do we call in and make an appointment?
You do. Call in to 423-323-4660 to make an appointment. We like to have groups of 5 or more for the tours for the building so that we have enough volunteers on staff.
Okay. All right.
Is there a charge for the tours?
The tours are $5 for adults and $2 for children.
And what days of the week are you open?
Every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30.
Oh, so people could come through the week. I thought it was always just a
Absolutely.
weekend tour.
No, they
Oh.
actually can do weekend tours as well,
Okay.
just as long as we know ahead of time.
No, ahead of time.
Right.
Okay, now I'm guessing that hopefully you get a lot of school groups that would come, like maybe on a
We
field
do.
trip. Do
We
you
have
get them now?
We do. We have school groups. We've had as high as 60 people come
Oh
through
my
for
goodness.
tours. So we have a lot of tours, yes.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, now how long has the department been in operation? Because I've only known about it for about 5 years, and I know you've been here a lot longer than that.
Well, we started up in May of 2004, and that came about as a result of 9 years of work with the Tennessee State Library and Archives
Yeah.
to trying to set this up and to develop it. And we stayed as the Department of Archives and History until 2008, and then we merged with the Department of Tourism. So we're now the Department of Archives and Tourism. And strangely, they really have a lot in common. There's a lot in common between history and tourism and
Sure.
heritage tourism and everything that we do.
Well, now, if somebody comes across something in their attic that pertains to the past, do they just bring it in here and ask you if you want it, or what would we do with it?
They do, absolutely. A lot of people come in and say, we have something old like a Victrola or maybe
Oh.
an old photograph. We have
Yeah.
a photograph of Robert E. Lee that is number 5 print of 6 prints. We're
Oh,
very
verified
proud.
official?
Wow.
Verified official.
Or authentic, I guess, yeah.
Authenticated. And we
Good.
also have, for example, pieces of the John Sevier collection of the late 1700s.
Oh,
so
my.
we're very blessed with that. And our manuscript collection, of course, holds original papers and documents from various people throughout the county and throughout the region. And one of the things that people aren't aware of, we are Sullivan County Department of Archives and Tourism, but the part Sullivan County doesn't mean that we just have Sullivan County items. We have things for all across the region being crossing the state borders such as Tennessee, Virginia, North Carolina, Kentucky.
Oh, my goodness.
And we made that decision early on to become a regional repository. And now we're very blessed because people have donated, and we have probably one of the largest collections between Knoxville and Roanoke.
Oh, that's
Wow.
amazing.
Very
Wow.
blessed.
That is great.
And we
yeah.
attribute that to the general public.
Sure.
So
Well, now,
we're grateful.
where are these artifacts on display?
The artifacts are not on display. Those are things naturally that wouldn't be handled on a daily basis. We have them in our restricted access area. And for example, if someone wanted to come in and view these items, they would come in and we'd give them a pair of white gloves and we'd actually pull whatever collection for them.
Oh, my,
So
that's amazing.
it's exciting.
It is, yes.
Yes.
We have to try to come back and do a show on just that and see some of the people involved in that. That'd be neat.
Yes.
That would be.
Yeah. Now, do you have information that you hand out or that you sell? Do you have books that you sell pertaining to all of this that I guess would help raise some money for you because you're a nonprofit?
Well, we actually do workshops from time to time, genealogy workshops and things showing people how to access archival records and how to preserve them and how to do their own family history. You know, people think that we are a family history center, and certainly we are, but that's a minute part of what we do. The largest part, of course, with the historic preservation side, has to do with county governmental, as I mentioned earlier. But most of our records and so forth, those are a whole different facet from, you know, the things that are donated.
Now, as we look around in this room, you've got books and shelves all around us. Are these books that have been purchased through the years by the county put in here? People bring them, donate them, sell them? How does that work?
We've had very few purchased by the county. We've been blessed with lots of donations.
Great.
And blessed with a lot of things from not only taxpayers in the very immediate area, but across the United States. People have wanted this. They've entrusted us with their things. They want to put their things, not only their books, but their original manuscript papers in a place where they're protected. And they know that we actually protect them, because a lot of times when people donate things, they come through the door and they wonder, is this going to stay in a box? Is it just going to be stuffed back in a back corner? We actually develop a finding aid and scope and provenance for each piece, each collection that comes through the door, and develop that finding aid and put it online. So
you mentioned that we could go online. Where would we go?
HistoricSullivan.com.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Well, that's it. That's short enough. Yeah,
Easy to remember.
HistoricSullivan.com.
It is.
All right.
Hello, and welcome to Village Drapery. Let's go on a tour of our store. Here is our selection of grommet panels. We have 6 styles to choose from, all at $19.99 per panel. Looking for valances and top treatments? Try our large selection. We still sell pinch-pleated draperies and the hardware as well. Village Discount Drapery, 215 Raytheon Road, Bristol, Tennessee.
A benefit 9-ball tournament for Janet Atwell, who is fighting breast cancer, will be held at Borderline Billiards, 628 State Street, downtown Bristol, Tennessee, Saturday and Sunday, August 17th and 18th. The tournament will be handicap double elimination. There will be a player auction, 50-50 raffle, and billiard product raffles. Entry fee is $60, with half of the proceeds going to the benefit and half to the field. Doors open at 11 a.m. For more information, call 423-989-7665. The Boat Doctors on Volunteer Parkway, Bristol, Tennessee is offering $1,500 off all in-stock Hurricane deck boats. Get a free trailer valued at $3,600 with the purchase of a new Berkshire pontoon in fishing, entertainment, and family models powered by Yamaha outboard engines. Or deduct the value of the trailer from the price of the pontoon. Save thousands of dollars with boat show prices every day at the Boat Doctors, 2528 Volunteer Parkway, next to Twin City Drive-In Theater, Bristol, Tennessee. Call the Boat Doctors at 423-574-2628. In conjunction with Tennessee's 150th anniversary celebration of the Civil War, the Battle of Blountville reenactment and sesquicentennial celebrations will be held Friday through Sunday, September 6th through the 8th. The events are a special tribute to the Battle of Blountville, which occurred September 22nd, 1863. The celebrations will be held on the Hawley Farm, 1173 Hawley Road, Blountville, Tennessee. Reenactors who would like to participate and for more information, call Sheila Steele Hunt at 423-323-4660.
A little bit earlier when we first got here, we met Joan Eller, and she's sitting over here working on some kind of documents. Can you tell us about that?
These are the Bristol Chancery records. There's about 100 boxes of these things. And when we say box, we're not talking about a banker's box. We're talking about these huge boxes that have documents in them that have to be flat folded. Each page, front and back, have to be cleaned, dry sponged. They have to be carefully handled with white gloves, as you can see that she's doing right now. And it's going to take probably 18 months or more to do this one project.
Oh my goodness! Now, are these the records that you found recently that I saw was talked about in the Bristol Herald Courier?
The records mentioned in the Bristol Herald Courier were referring to the Masonic records that we
Masonic,
found.
that's
and the
right,
Masonic records were a minute part of this 100 boxes of
Right.
Chancery records.
Now, when we came in, I saw something on the table. Are those the ones you're talking about? The Masonic
Yes,
records on the
yes,
table?
they are.
Could we take a walk over there and look at them?
Absolutely, surely.
Oh, that'd be great. All right, let's
Sure.
go over there.
Uh-huh.
All right, here we are at a newly found, newly discovered exhibit. I guess is that the correct word to use, Sheila,
It's an
about
exhibit.
what you have here?
It's an exhibit, and it's also a collection, if you will. These are the Masonic records that range from 1865 to 1899, and they were the lost records by the old Shelby Lodge in Bristol.
Oh my
So we've had the
goodness.
lodge master come down and look at it, and he said, indeed, these are the ones that they were missing.
Oh my!
So we're very blessed to have
Now I
these.
bet the lodge is excited about this.
They're really excited. And
They don't
very,
want you to give them back.
Well, no, not exactly. They're very much encouraging that we do preserve them.
Sure. Oh yeah,
And of course,
absolutely.
How did you
gonna-
come by them?
Well, they were housed in one of our Chancery boxes, and at this point, we're about 18 months away from getting this particular preservation project finished.
Mm-hmm.
We won't really know if this is a supporting piece of evidence for any given suit until we actually finish the project. So we're kind of in limbo with this right now. But as far as the preservation of it, this is a temporary situation where they're in some sleeves that certainly are not permanent. We need the funding to secure the long sleeves that are a little more expensive, the Mylar sleeves, and we need funding to hire someone to scan these. And it's something that can't be done in a hurry. It's going to take some
Oh,
time.
sure,
Simply
right.
because they're going to have to be handled with kid gloves.
Right. I want to ask you about the funding in just a second, but I got to ask right now, seeing that they're burned, obviously they were in a fire, was it in a building that they were stored in that happened, or
There's
do you know?
actually a note in the very front, a card, that says burned in the C&M's office in 1893.
Oh.
And that C&M, of course, is clerk and master.
I see,
So there
okay.
was a fire in the middle of the night in the clerk and master's office. So when we found these, we thought they're just a charred mess of something that probably needs to be disposed
Oh,
of. But
wow.
when our volunteer opened them up and we both began to look at them, we really found that this is something that is crucial to the history of Bristol, very important to the history of Bristol.
Mm-hmm.
Has a lot of names, a lot of the early founders' names in these documents.
I noticed that also, we were discussing it before we actually got to this segment to start taping again. It's on lined paper. I didn't know that
It
came out into the
is.
50s.
Actually, I have seen lined paper as early as 1840.
And
My
it's all
goodness.
in a beautiful, neat cursive handwriting.
Yes,
They
that's-
don't
Very
teach
legible.
cursive anymore.
That's
yeah,
right.
That's true. All right. Now, I did say we get back to the funding. Tell us what is needed there and how to help take care of this.
Well, folks can make donations to the Sullivan County Trustee on behalf of the Department of Archives and Tourism for preserving this particular set of documents. And we certainly welcome any kind of donations, you know, just $5 or $50, or if someone comes along and they want to donate $5,000, that would be fantastic.
100,000 for that matter. This is
Exactly.
history.
Exactly.
Got to preserve it, absolutely. All right, now, what would be the best way to contact, I guess, you as far as maybe mailing a donation or coming in? You're welcome either way, I'm sure. Should they call and say, I want to come by and make a donation, just show up? What's the best way to do it?
That would be great. We can accommodate them. We can actually go out and pick it up if they need us to.
Okay, all right, okay.
Or they can call us at 323-4660, or, you know.
When we were talking earlier, you mentioned that it is tax deductible.
It is tax deductible, every donation.
That's great. And again, it amazes me to see, like Becky had pointed out, the really neat cursive handwriting. And then as we also noticed, it's on lined paper. And you even said it looks like maybe on a ledger or a legal pad type paper.
It does.
And it's amazing that back in those days, what would you
when-
say, 1865 was it?
1865 to 1899.
If you look at some of them, they extend past the standard notebook size paper. And
It's
that's
almost a legal size.
Yeah.
right. And that's what she was saying. They have to upgrade what they have it in to protect those ends.
Right.
Now, how long will you have this on display? Because I know these are very fragile as we look at them.
They're very fragile.
yeah.
Our situation is that we have a lot of people calling wanting to see these.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, we're leaving them out temporarily, probably in about another 3 weeks.
Okay.
And then we'll retire them to restricted access until we can actually have the funding to display them properly.
Now, I'm guessing when you say restricted access, you got to put them over here away from where people can't go over and touch them. So you got a barrier, rope, or something to preserve them. Obviously, it's not that you're trying to be, hateful or anything like that. You just got to
no.
preserve them because of the condition they're in.
That's correct. We
Yeah.
actually have what is called a restricted access area,
Mm-hmm.
and that certainly is not to buffer the general public. It's to preserve the records so that they will be available for the general public.
Now, is this on the tours that you were talking about that we would need to set up, or can we just walk in for this part?
This part doesn't have anything to do with our tours.
Okay.
You can walk in at any time. It's best to call because I'm the only person on staff. Therefore, you want to make sure that I'm here, not out for a meeting.
Sure.
So feel free to call me, and I'd be happy to make an appointment for someone to view these records.
Okay, and just call the number you gave us before, which is?
Exactly, 323-4660.
And for you folks out in the other areas, since we're on the web now, or all around the world and on YouTube, it's a 423 area code. And be sure to call Sheila, and we'd love for some of you folks, wherever you are in the world, to come over here and see this.
Absolutely.
Especially you folks that are interested in history. Speaking of history, I noticed something else that's in the works I want to talk about. And it's a Civil War part coming up here.
Absolutely.
And it's in the thinking stages right now, I guess?
Well, it's a little beyond the thinking stages. Actually, we're moving into the first phase, which is develop our first hotspot and have a monument and some flags, a little veterans park. And we hope to do a groundbreaking here in September.
Okay, now this is what I was sort of going to get to, Sheila, and this is exciting for me because, and you folks watching, by the way, this is On the Road with Beckie and Jim, and we're in Blountville, Tennessee, and we are at the headquarters of the Sullivan County Department of Archives and Tourism. I got it right, didn't I?
You did.
All right,
You
I'm
did.
doing much better. And this is Miss Sheila Steele Hunt. She's the director, and got Miss Jane Eller over here working real hard on some stuff, some of the other documents, etc. And of course, this is Beckie. You remember her?
You can take.
Yeah, but we've talked about, of course, the department and what it does, etc. We've talked about the newly found documents and so forth. Here's something exciting too.
Oh.
Sullivan County is working on the Battle of Blountville Civil War Park.
That's
Tell us
correct.
about that.
Oh, we're so excited. This is one of our biggest projects through this department. It's all about heritage tourism. It's all about generating tourism dollars for the area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in Virginia, for example, 1 out of $7 goes to heritage tourism
Yeah.
as far as tourism
Sure.
dollars. We want to bring that home to Sullivan County.
Yes.
And so we really feel that this is going to generate that income for us. But also, it's for those people who love history and want to help educate their children with regard to the Battle of Blountville.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly the Battle of Blountville in and of itself was a very small, very minute part of the Civil War, but it was a major part of the war in that it had to do with the control of the railroad for East Tennessee. So this particular project started out about 2 years ago under the auspices of Representative Tony Shipley, who he came in one day and he started talking about the Battle of Blountville, and we started talking about doing a military park. And he said, let's do it. And so here we are. We formed a committee, and we're moving forward, and it has taken some time with the paperwork, but we're really ready now to break ground, hopefully in September.
Really? Of this year?
Yes, absolutely.
Next month?
Absolutely.
Oh, man. Now, where is it going to be specifically or physically in Blountville?
The Battle of Blountville actually occurred all around the town of Blountville. And having said that, there's a lot of private property that's
Okay.
owned, in Blountville. So we're going to start with our county-owned property, and certainly we have no plans to take anybody's property. That's not even anywhere in the works. But we're going to put monuments throughout Blountville, throughout the property that the county owns, and connect all of that with sidewalks, and pull all of this together to make it a wonderful heritage tourism plan for
Sure.
our tourists.
I noticed out front you already have one that mentions the Battle of Blountville. The sign.
The little historic marker that's
Yeah.
put up there.
Right.
Yes, that was put up there
And-
many years ago.
Well, it's in these colors too.
Yes, and we have a wonderful architect, Ken Sorgel, out of Jonesboro. He's a Harvard graduate, and he is actually laying out the plans for the park.
Oh, that's great.
So
now,
we're blessed with
I
that.
think, didn't you ask her earlier before we started taping about a wall?
The wall in the one poster here that you see, it
Yeah.
reminds me of what is in Colonial Williamsburg, where they have set up that park.
And so will this one have a wall similar to that, Sheila?
It will. Parts of it will have the wall using the rock and so forth, and that's indigenous to this area, of course. And we're trying to make everything, keep it as pristine as we can, you know, like it would have been in 1861.
Now, I've got to ask you, when you get this project underway and you start putting items in place, is it something that our viewers watching could bring to put in it to donate, or is this strictly going to be the Sullivan County purchases of everything on their own?
Well, there's going to be monuments, certainly. That's something that we're going to have to purchase, and hopefully with funds from donations.
From the
and that
general
kind of
public,
thing.
sure.
But with anything regarding the Civil War, regarding the Battle of Blountville, or the Civil War in general, people can certainly donate things. And again, we'd hold that in our archives here until we get a museum, and we do have works, you know, for a museum to be included in this project.
I've been looking at your posters that you have up here, and there's one that you're going to have not only films, but you're going to have videos of that pertain to the Battle of Blountville too.
We are.
Now, I was going to ask you this, a way that the community can help. I'm sure there's always that need, maybe, is that the correct word to use? Can the
That's
community
correct.
help in any way? What would be a way?
Absolutely. We would love, well, donations, or they can come out and help us with, you know, actually putting in bricks, or
Yeah.
making suggestions, or working with our committee. We welcome everybody's help. It's going to take a team effort.
Sure,
in
and I'm
Sullivan
sure you're going to
County.
need a lot of volunteers.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
Well, when you start doing some of the actual manual labor on setting up the park, are you going to ask for volunteers in the news at that time?
We may. We also think that Jacobs Creek Job Corps may help us with that.
Oh yeah, that'd be
So
a
we're
good.
looking for
Sure,
that,
that'd be a great
yes.
project for them.
Yes.
Right. Now, as far as donations, now I know you're still in the planning stages. Later on, will you be announcing to the public how they can make donations monetarily and all that later on? Because, like you said, you're just getting it started now.
We will make announcements later, but they can go ahead and make those donations.
Oh, they can
already
start now.
had-
Okay.
Yes, we've
Well-
already had one wonderful donation
Well,
from
now,
AT&T. So.
Are those, when they make a donation, they use a check? How do they make that one out so that you will know that it is for the Battle of Blountville?
They make it to Sullivan County Trustee and earmark it in the memo for Battle of Blountville Military Park.
Oh, well, that's
Okay.
easy enough.
That's
Sure.
easy.
Absolutely. Well, you folks out there watching, then, the Battle of Blountville Civil War Park in the planning stages, and it's not too late to start giving now, like you said,
It
donating.
Isn't. It isn't.
All right, so contact Sheila. I guess contact you here.
That's correct.
All right, and we're at the Sullivan County Department of Archives and Tourism in Blountville, Tennessee. In conjunction with Tennessee's 150th anniversary celebration of the Civil War, the Battle of Blountville reenactment and sesquicentennial celebrations will be held Friday through Sunday, September 6th through the 8th. The events are a special tribute to the Battle of Blountville, which occurred September 22nd, 1863. The celebrations will be held on the Holly Farm, 1173 Holly Road, Blountville, Tennessee. Reenactors who would like to participate and for more information, call Sheila Steele Hunt at 423-323-4660. The Boat Doctors on Volunteer Parkway, Bristol, Tennessee is offering $1,500 off all in-stock Hurricane deck boats. Get a free trailer valued at $3,600 with the purchase of a new Berkshire pontoon in fishing, entertainment, and family models powered by Yamaha outboard engines. Or deduct the value of the trailer from the price of the pontoon. Save thousands of dollars with boat show prices every day at the Boat Doctors, 2528 Volunteer Parkway, next to Twin City Drive-In Theater, Bristol, Tennessee. Call the Boat Doctors at 423-574-2628. A benefit 9-ball tournament for Janet Atwell, who is fighting breast cancer, will be held at Borderline Billiards, 628 State Street, downtown Bristol, Tennessee, Saturday and Sunday, August 17th and 18th. The tournament will be handicap double elimination. There will be a player auction, 50-50 raffle, and billiard product raffles. Entry fee is $60, with half of the proceeds going to the benefit and half to the field. Doors open at 11 a.m. For more information, call 423-989-7665.
Hello, and welcome to Village Drapery. Let's go on a tour of our store. Here is our selection of grommet panels. We have 6 styles to choose from, all at $19.99 per panel. Looking for valances and top treatments? Try our large selection. We still sell pinch-pleated draperies and the hardware as well. Village Discount Drapery, 215 Raytheon Road, Bristol, Tennessee.
Okay, I mentioned that we were going to move into other areas of our visit here to the Sullivan County Department of Archives and Tourism, and we had touched on the work of Miss Joan Eller, and right now we want you to meet Joan and see what she's been doing. And so, Joan, welcome to On the Road with Beckie and Jim, and tell us now what you are doing, because we touched on it earlier, and this is one of the documents. If you will, just if you can, if it's okay, hold it up and let James see it.
That's right. This is some documents that we have from those boxes we talked about. And as you can see, they are all folded up, nice and neat, from Chancery Court. And I have to take these documents, flat fold them, take them apart, take these metal things out, because you can't have anything metal. And you have to take these out, and then you have to flat fold them so they are nice and neat, and then they're put into a file folder, and everything is labeled the way it's supposed to be, and then they go into these temporary boxes and they are stored off-site.
My goodness, that's quite a project. And excuse me, the old saying, you got to handle these with kid gloves.
Exactly.
And you're wearing your kid gloves.
I've got them on right now.
Right. Now, is it a requirement by anybody in particular to wear white, or is it just that I'm
I
guessing
don't know the color it makes any difference.
makes any difference as long as they're soft, and I guess
you have to have protection, because
yeah.
even the oil from your skin.
Oh,
when you
that's
touch
true.
These,
Sure.
And these are old. This is from 1932, so you have to be very, very careful, and you have to clean them because they are really dirty. If I was folded up and stored for that long, I'd be dirty too.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Well, now I was looking at this one. Nowadays, when we do documents, we staple the top. But how in the world do you get those out without damaging the paper?
I do not know. And some of these I have found, the older ones, much older, the ones in the 1880s and 1890s, they were fastened with straight pins like you would sew with.
Oh, really? My goodness.
So this is a much earlier, or much later, 1932. So they've come a long way since straight pins.
My goodness, yes. Well, Miss Joan, I know you're busy, and we're running out of time on this visit, but we are coming back, and we'll talk to you again on another visit, because we're going to talk more about the Battle of Blountville Civil War Park. But this is very interesting, and I'm guessing, well, I'll ask you, since you're right here, if people want to come in and just watch you do this, just be sure that they don't touch, but they can watch you actually do what you're doing.
If they want to, and if they're real smart, they'll sit down with me, and Jill will show them how to do this.
Okay.
And we'll put them to work.
Hey, there you go.
Do you ever get involved in reading what you're doing?
Yes, sometimes I do, especially when we found those Masonic records. I read every page.
Now, I notice these little sponges here, and you've got one that is very dirty.
Oh, those are cleaning sponges?
Well, this is from this record here that I've been doing. I've been flat folding and cleaning. Even though it came from 1932, they really get dirty. And you have to be very careful, and you have to kind of dab it little by little. It takes a long time to do.
Can you touch, now these are typewritten where all those were handwritten, but can you touch the type with your sponge?
Yes.
It doesn't smear it or anything. Okay. All right.
I haven't run across any yet that's smeared. I may in the future, but so far I have not.
Right. That's very interesting. Miss Joan Eller, and she is the flattener of the documents. Okay.
Cleaner.
Okay, and cleaner. There you go. All right. Joan, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
All right. Now, let's move over to another section of the Sullivan County Department of Archives and Tourism and wrap up this week's show. Well, all right, I guess we found a spot to wrap it up, and it's been a fast half hour or whatever it is that we're allowed on the road. But Sheila, thank you so much for inviting us to come and visit you, and we do have to come back.
We hope you do.
We got to cover a lot more. We just barely scratched the surface, as the old saying goes. There's so much going on here in Sullivan County with the Department of Archives and Tourism, and I am really excited about the Battle of Blountville Heritage Park. It's underway, and we're looking forward to more on that, and so we'll do a show on that too, okay?
Thank you. We appreciate. Glad you
I have
did.
enjoyed it, and it's educational because, like I said, I grew up in Virginia, so a lot of this I didn't know.
It's different.
It
It's very,
is.
very different.
But again, folks who would like to participate in any way in a volunteer basis for all of the projects you've got going on here, I know a lot of folks like to volunteer, just contact you here.
Please do. We need all the volunteers we can get.
All right,
so
and just give us a phone number one more time.
it's 423-323-4660.
All right, Ms. Sheila Steele Hunt, she is the director of the Sullivan County Department of Archives and Tourism. And we thank you for being with us this week, and we'll be looking for you at our next stop somewhere next week on the road.